Welcome to 561 Music. My name's Ben.
And I'm Hector.
How are you, Hector?
I'm doing good, man. It is a pretty incredible week. There is a whole lot going on in the music scene here locally. It just seems like everyone's exploding right now, man.
Absolutely.
You know, you got Sierra Lane's dropping a new single here shortly.
Yep.
Joey Calderaro and countless other local bands on the Sunfest circuit for this year. And actually, I was noticing, I saw Joey was posting that he was on the list or whatever for Sunfest, on the schedule, and I took a little gander at the schedule, and he's not even like on a side stage or anything, man. He's like legit, like on a Friday night, 7 p.m. on the Forge stage.
He's good.
100% he deserves it, but I'm just saying, like, that's, usually you don't see that at Sunfest. I was happy to see that they really picked up a lot of locals this year.
Yeah, they got Joey Calderaro, Article Sound System, and Rogue Theory, Public Sounds. Yeah. They're sick. And Matt Brown. So a whole bunch of local people.
Yeah, absolutely. So mad props to all those guys. Congratulations for getting on Sunfest.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. I'm a little jealous.
Oh, for sure. But speaking of festivals, we have some exciting stuff coming up in April, the 561 Music Festival.
Yeah.
So anybody who has not heard of that, you live under a rock, because we've been talking about it for a while now.
Yeah,
so,
totally. But, tell them all about it. Who's playing it?
Yeah, huge lineup. If you want to pull up the lineup in the meantime, and there's tickets. Tickets are online. 561musicfestival.com. Tickets are $10. It doesn't get any cheaper than that. It's 20 local amazing bands and artists for $10. It's an all day thing. It's at Matthews Brewing Company. So mad props to Matthews for hosting. And you can do a $25 ticket, which will actually include a T-shirt, so you get a little bit of a discount there. And if you are so inclined and you own a business and you want to sponsor, we are still looking for some sponsors. We do have some amazing sponsors so far. We have some in-kind sponsors. Easy Tees is supplying T-shirts for us. Live music community who does so much for us and for this podcast. The studio we're sitting in now, and Justin. We have Harmony Management.
Yeah.
Harmony Management. Our good friend Mary, she is sponsoring us at the tier 1 level. Cool. We've got Backsavers, which we'll talk about in a little bit, sponsoring us at the tier 3 level. So there's a bunch of people getting involved. There's a bunch of stuff going on, and it's pretty exciting stuff, man. But this is gonna have Spread the Dub, Sierra Lane, Sons of a Tradesman, No Name Ska Band, Bryce Allen Band, Victoria Lee, Joey Calderaro, BFD, The Shake. Jake Walden, Sandman Sleeps, Fall Victim, Jacob Tacos, Micah Scott, Ben Childs, Dominic Delaney, Josh Miles, Alyssa Kuhn, Fox Maple, and Paper Carcass. 20 bands for $10. You can't go wrong. So
I'm really looking forward to it. It's going to be such an awesome day.
Oh, I'm excited, man. I'm excited that we're taking this podcast to a little bit of a next level and doing exactly what we said we were going to set out to do, and getting local music scene.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's going to be one of the last gigs that No Name Ska Band ever plays, so it's going to be a little bittersweet for me on that front. But, it's like it's going to be a lot of fun. We were really lucky with that band, actually. Matt said he was moving away, and then we tried to figure out to play some good shows, and now we are playing some great shows. If anyone wants to come and see No Name Ska Band play at the Culture Room with Less Than Jake on Friday, then you guys should come.
That's this Friday, right?
That's this Friday, yeah.
So
on Friday.
So if you're hearing our voices right now, it's probably Friday.
Yeah,
so.
Totally. Yeah, and maybe there's not any tickets left because it's the 30th anniversary of Less Than Jake's. It's going to be a sick show.
Yeah, awesome, man. Awesome.
So what else is going on? How are you doing, man? You had a bit of a tragedy happen to you last week, didn't you?
Yeah. We lost one of our puppies last week, man. So that was rough. That was rough. That's the first time. We've had animals over the years, but like that was the first time we've lost an animal. So, and it was a little bit sudden. She's a small dog, and I guess they are supposed to live considerably longer than the larger dogs. She was she wasn't young, but she was gonna be 12 Monday, right. And no inkling or sign that anything was wrong, and then she just had a heart failure problem. So it was like literally like one day to the next. So it is what it is. Got to move on. So,
and when you kids are the age that your kids are, it's difficult because it's almost like the dog represents a period of their lives. You know?
Sure.
What I mean?
Oh, sure. No, it was definitely a gut punch to my kids. So yeah. So
I'm sorry about that, man.
Yeah, man.
Sucks. Well, we're lucky enough to have, in order, Hatchet, Vern, and Coby from Switch and Whiskey here with us today. How's it going, guys?
Good. How you doing?
Good.
Yeah.
Good. Thank you for having us.
Oh, thanks for coming, man. It's a real honor. If going from this way to that way, what do you guys? What do you all play in the band?
I play bass and do backing vocals.
Okay.
I sing and I play guitar.
Cool.
And I'm guitar.
Good stuff. All right. So how many others are you? Is there just the drummer?
One more drummer.
Yeah. Cool. What's his name?
Eric.
All right. Big up, Eric. Sorry you couldn't be here today. But yeah, so what I usually do is ask some general questions to just get an idea of how you guys got into music and just your journey through life and how music fit into that. And I guess we'll just go in order, and I'll ask you, Hatchet. When you were young, how did you first get into music?
Well, in fourth grade, I started playing cello.
Yeah.
And that's probably explains the origin of my bass playing.
Sure.
And I did that for about a year and a half, and I really enjoyed it.
Can you still play it?
And no, I do not. And the reason I haven't gone back to it is because I guess I felt like I was always meant to play an electric bass, because I do remember being in the orchestra room, and I would flip my cello on its side.
Oh yeah.
And I would start jamming out, and I got scolded more than once by the teacher, saying, "We don't treat our instruments like that. We are, aspire to a higher professional standard." And I'm like, I just want to rock, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
So
it's always in your bones.
I did that, and then I moved on. I played saxophone for a year.
Yeah,
Unfortunately, definitely I'm a string guy. That's what I learned out of that. Very difficult instrument. But the reason I kind of left music at that point was I got kicked out of band basically because they caught me memorizing the music.
Right.
I wouldn't learn it. And then finally I just in fifth grade I was like, you know what? I'm done with this. Right. Years later, I graduated college, and I graduated, with my undergrad, and I was going in to do my master's degree, and I was going to be doing my master's degree from home.
Yeah.
This is back in like 2008, 2009, and I decided, I kind of want a little bit of a hobby, and I thought to myself, let me go and pick up, a bass guitar, because I played cello when I was younger, and I kind of know where to start and where to go from here, and so. And
it really makes a difference, doesn't it? Like having like an early musical education, it's just a little bit of a foundation,
Yeah, and it was weird actually picking it up for the first time, because I'm like, oh, here's G and here's C, and I remember this and I remember that, you know what I mean? Even after all those years and I didn't touch anything for years, for all those years. So going back to that, and then, a bunch of time passed, and now here I am.
Did your parents listen to music?
Yes, they did. I grew up, obviously, like my mom was, always listening to the radio. Things like Rod Stewart and a lot of the solid gold oldies. The doo-wop music my mom would listen to in the car, and so I was exposed to that. And my dad, definitely got me started on all the essentials: the Pink Floyd, the Stones, Allman Brothers, things like that. And I was exposed to that, and as I became more into music, I started discovering, more heavy 70s and 80s rock, and that ended up kind of turning me into the musician and the influences that I have today, like my favorite band being Iron Maiden. So so that was eventually where I landed. That ended up being my bread and butter.
Yeah, cool. British metal.
Absolutely. I love the new wave of British heavy metal.
Oh yeah, I love the way that there's like no frills. The guitar's tuned to E. Every one song on every album they have a drop D.
Yep, exactly. and fantastic guitar harmonies. It seems to be a staple of that genre.
Yeah, definitely. Despite my kind of slight political differences with Bruce Dickinson, I have to say that they're an awesome band, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. They've definitely, in a lot of ways, I think they've ascended to kind of what bands like Skynyrd and the Stones, and they became more than a band at a certain point, and they became their own institution.
Yeah,
and I think that they kind of just continuously just being them. I think that's like the essence of rock and roll, is just kind of just doing you.
Yeah.
And hoping that fans come along for the ride. And I like you speak about Bruce Dickinson. He made a really great analogy recently where he said our fans are like plywood. There's many, many different layers, and they just keep building as time goes on.
Oh, cool.
And I thought that was cool because all those bands, Kiss, The Stones, Leonard Skinner, they've all had success garnering fans from multiple generations.
Yeah.
Now, when you go to those shows, it's grandparents and their kids and their grandchildren.
I'm having a little bit of a senior moment right now. What's the drummer called again? He's,
Nico McBrain.
Yeah, he lives around here, doesn't he? He lives in Boca, I think.
Yeah, he lives down in Boca, and he owns Rockin' Ribs.
Have you ever met him?
I've met him briefly.
Right.
I haven't. Yeah. He was. He always does a thing every December where they celebrate the opening of Rockin' Ribs.
Right. Yeah.
So he hasn't done it the last couple of years, obviously, but I think this year he'll probably be doing it. But
You ever met that guy Patrick Johansson? You know that guy?
I know Patrick very well.
Yeah, because he knows him, doesn't he? He's always hanging around with those guys. He's cool, man. He's a funny guy.
Awesome guy, great drummer.
Yeah, isn't he ever? Yeah, I've had my adventures with Patrick. He actually played drums with Killbillies one time, if you can imagine that.
Yeah, he almost played drums with us one time. So go figure on that one.
Yeah, he's an insane drummer, man.
Yeah, he's so good. It's unbelievable.
I played with him the one time I met him. I played with him at an open mic at I think it was Connolly's, and never met him before. And a friend of mine was playing guitar, I was playing bass, and we got up. They called us up to come do a little jam or whatever. So we got up and we needed a drummer, and they were like, "Oh, Patrick will get up with." I don't even know what we were playing. We were playing like Three Doors Down or something, something, whatever. And he's back there with the double bass, yeah. And it was just like, holy crap.
If you didn't mention the double bass, I was going to be like, you didn't play with Patrick.
It was absolutely amazing and scary all at the same time.
Yeah, man. He's brutal. It's amazing.
Oh,
we were playing all these kind of like sort of Irish tunes and stuff. Exactly. And he's there like spinning the sticks like it's an 80s metal show, man. It was cool. Brilliant. Love the guy. I helped him do some video stuff, and because we both used to work together at School of Rock back in the day, and so I got to know him pretty well. He's a nice guy. Anyhow, Vern, how did you find yourself getting into music?
Wow. I come from a musical family.
Yeah.
My brother,
tell us a bit about that.
My dad played, and I wanted to start playing something when I was about 6 or 7. So my mom got me a set of bongos and drumsticks.
Oh, cool.
Because they didn't want to get me a full kit back then.
Sure.
Just try them out with some bongos, So I would just jam the bongos along to like CCR and Queen and that kind of stuff, you know. So I knew exactly. I figured out where the 2 and the 4 is. I didn't know what it was at the time, but I knew where the snare head should be and all that stuff. So that was pretty cool. And then when I was about 14, I got my first drum kit.
Okay.
And then it just consumed me.
Yeah, man.
Totally. And I went to music school. Studied drums. That was my major.
Oh, right. Well, like university, like college.
Yeah, like a college.
Yeah, cool. I did a music degree as well. Where did you do it?
National School of Arts in Johannesburg, South Africa.
Oh, right. How long have you been over here?
Just over 2 years.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So this has all happened with the band pretty recently. That's amazing. That's cool. I didn't realize it was such a. I didn't realize you guys were so fresh. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. We don't look fresh. But
So, all right. When your parents were listening to music and stuff, what were the kind of early? What were the early influences you used?
Definitely for me, CCR.
Right.
Queen, Elton John.
Right.
Buddy Holly.
Yeah.
Lots of Buddy Holly.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, that kind of stuff. And
cool. So, when it comes to like music in South Africa, are there bands over there that is there a kind of comparable music scene, or is it more sort of the American bands?
There are definitely fans of American and British music over there.
Yeah.
It's also big over there. The local scene, unfortunately, there's not much of a scene at the moment.
Right.
There wasn't a scene before COVID. Wasn't much of a scene before COVID.
Yeah.
And now, post-COVID, it's even worse.
Yeah.
So it's really it's sad.
Yeah, I hear you, man. That is sad. So when was the switch from drums?
I just picked up guitar along the way, along the journey. Started playing guitar. My brother taught me a couple of things, and I really loved playing guitar,
Yeah.
And then I was playing in a bunch of band, doing session work as a drummer, and
cool.
playing for R&B acts and stuff. And
Right.
But I also wanted to start like a cover band where I sing and play guitar.
Yeah.
So, and then that took over. I like being in front with the guitar.
Yeah, man, I hear you. Yeah, that's what I do for a living. I can relate.
That's the journey my son Gavin's taking right now. He's he learned here at live music community, and I guess he's about 18 now, and he's been playing 8 or 9 years now. Ridiculously sick drummer. I mean, he's really good. And somewhere in the last year, like really it was about like COVID and stuff. He was sitting at home, and he picked up one of my guitars and was like noodling, and fast forward to now, and he still enjoys playing drums, and he wouldn't mind playing drums in a band, but he wants to front a band and sing and play. Like, he's trying to work on his vocals. He's trying to work on his guitar. He's like, I just feel like I'm more free and I could do more out front instead of behind the kit.
Well, I think it's definitely I feel like a lot of drummers aspire to be guitarists, and get a lot of guitarists a little bit jealous of the drummers.
I call it Dave Grohl syndrome.
Yeah, there you go. That's really funny. It's hilarious. So, what prompted the move? How did you find yourself here?
These guys.
Right, really?
Yeah, they imported me.
Oh, wow.
Found me on Wish.
That's super cool.
Tinder.
Make a wish.
Make a wish, right?
No, they
Found you on Christian
They were
Mingle.
looking for something. They had a vision.
Right.
They were looking for the right puzzle piece.
Okay.
So I don't know which one listened to my music first. My solo albums, and they were like, "Oh, this will be cool to get this guy."
Yeah.
But there's only one problem. He's in South Africa, So
Yeah. That's so
it was a
interesting.
very long process.
I wasn't expecting that answer at all. I thought you could come over for some other reason or work, and then find
to
yourself
meet
in the
these
band.
guys. Yeah, I didn't. Yeah, that was
Literally
actually
imported
a really
as
cool
a rock star.
answer.
Yeah. Totally.
It was a really long process, and always be grateful for these guys that they waited for me, that they didn't get anybody else, because it took almost 3 years. Because I came
Wow.
over to meet them and jam with them a little bit.
Yeah.
Then I went back, and then how am I going to do this? Because it's really difficult to come to America.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I know.
Especially as an artist.
Yeah.
So it took me 3 years to sort out my visa stuff, save money and all that, bullshit. So, and then we ended up here.
That's so awesome.
That
I
is
love
awesome.
that story. Yeah, so when it comes to your kind of early formative musical journey, how did you get into it?
It's a lot like these guys. I started when I was like, 5 or 6. I learned how to play the recorder. Then I didn't touch an instrument again until I was like 19. And I was at a bar one time, and I watched this guy, lean back and take a lead. And I was like, wow, that's, I like that. I think I'm gonna learn how to do that.
He said chicks dig that.
Yeah, that looks pretty up my alley. And then I ended up getting into a bit of trouble, so I had to stay home for like a couple of years and wasn't really allowed to do much. So it was a really good way to catch up for being a late bloomer in the music industry, the music scene. So
Sure.
I got to catch up real quick in the 2 years, and then ever since then it's just been got on stage as soon as I could, kept the ball rolling.
Nice.
And we just pushed through. I met him. I left the band and ran into Chantos. They wanted me to come back and play lead for the band because another friend was leaving. And then me and him got to talking. We had very similar ideas of where we wanted to go with music. And like, well, hey, screw it. Let's give this a shot. Let's me and you start a band. And so we started building from there. And he found this guy. That guy found this guy. And
That's great. Are any of you kind of the de facto sort of leader of the who does the most kind of the sort of clerical work and stuff like that?
I feel like he does most of the clerical work, but we all take our own.
we all divide it pretty evenly.
Right.
But I guess if you wanted to define it as clerical or PR,
He's our clerk.
That's yes, I'm a clerk. Hey, my master's degree in public administration had to come
Paid
somewhere
off,
in handy,
finally.
so I do some budgeting for the band.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, cool. Yeah, at this point with Killbillies, we pretty much split most of the duties. But just because I've got some relationships with previous venues and stuff like that, I find myself doing a bit more of that. I tend to take I distribute the money, but honestly, we're when it comes to, we all have our sort of different roles, like Hector does a lot of the art and the merch and stuff like that, and James is really helpful when it comes to like big picture stuff. Like sometimes I can't see the wood for the trees, and I also kind of sell myself short. And James is really good at helping me see the direction we should go in.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and he's not afraid of a little bit of confrontation either. And I am terrible with confrontation. So it's nice to have a couple of people like that around.
I feel like you got to have that division of labor to a certain extent. I mean, especially if you're at this level and you don't have a manager.
Yeah.
Very few, unless you're a big signed artist, that they're able to kick back a little. You know what I mean? And obviously someone still has to do the business part of it, but.
Well, we're fortunate enough that, the three of us are pretty savvy with a bunch of different things, and we do split it up. I mean, we are fortunate enough that we have Danielle doing, our friend Danielle, she does all of our social media stuff, and she comes at I would say probably 75% of our shows. She comes to our shows and takes pictures, so there's always fresh content. I mean, Ben actually made a comment one day. It stuck with me. It was hilarious. He said, "If I ever wake up one morning and I don't see a new picture of my face on Facebook, I'll think the world is ending." And that's kind of the true. Like every day, I'm like, "Oh wow, that was cool." Like I was from that show or from this show.
I know you get used to it a little bit. I'm worried. We got to look after her.
Yeah. So shout out to Danielle for our amazing social media, and then we've got Mary doing a lot of our kind of clerical, as you said, keeping track of our schedules and making sure that, because Ben does solo stuff, and then Ben and James do duo stuff, and then the three of us do full band stuff, and she keeps it all straight, putting it on different people's calendars and stuff, so when you're needed, and when you can't book other stuff with your other projects because that there's stuff going on or whatever. Like, yeah, she's real good about all that stuff. So
yeah, totally.
So yeah, man, it's we're fortunate enough to have kind of a little.
Yeah, it takes a village,
a little team, but yeah, it does, man. It does. You don't realize.
I like that because that's the phrase from raising a child, and I guess in many ways a band kind of is, raising a child.
I mean, even just a local band, like I don't think people realize like how much goes into it. It's not just like I went into a bar and played for 3 hours. Like everything that took to get to that point was crazy.
Yeah, right. And you can run it like that, but you just you're always going to be on the bottom rung money wise, and no one's ever going to show up. So to get even just to the next rung is a lot of work.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So I'm curious about your writing process. One of the things I think people would be interested in is like when you play your 3-4 hour gigs, how much of that is original material?
Well, pretty much if we play 3 to 4 hour gig, we do about 40 songs or something.
Yeah.
So 7 or 8 might be originals of that. So we try to, it depends. Sometimes we try to space them out evenly.
Yeah.
Sometimes we'll keep that to the last set and just blow them with some originals. You know?
It sounds pretty similar to the way we do it. Yeah, we sort of scatter them throughout the set usually, but then if something's coming up, or if we've if we've got a gig coming up and we want to just run the originals to kind of get them really tight for an original gig, well, the weekend before, the last set will just be all originals.
Yeah.
We do that quite a lot. I feel like I was actually just having a conversation with someone about this about half an hour ago via text, but and he was kind of arguing the other side. But the way I look at it is, bands can do both, and it's actually a way of, it's a way of being able to be a band. Doing these 3-4 hour gigs, you get tighter. I mean, there is always the danger that you start kind of getting a bit complacent and leaning on the covers too much and lose sight a little bit, but if you're careful, you can do both.
Yeah, I don't know where that came from. I think we've experienced a little bit of that, where we've heard from maybe some people in the industry. It's like, well, at a certain point you have to choose. Like, are you a cover band or are you an original band? And it's like, well, I always looked at it as we're an original band. Yeah. That happens to play, some covers, and this is where we're at right now.
Sure.
And the bottom line is if we weren't playing the covers, we certainly wouldn't be out there doing what we're doing now. At least not to the extent we are.
No,
and we wouldn't have the following we do. And that aside, didn't all these great bands, the Stones and Van Halen, they all started out basically as cover bands, and I don't mean that in a derogatory
Beatles.
term.
The Beatles were a cover band.
Right.
I mean, let's be real about
So I
this.
don't know where that started, but it is interesting because I've heard that before.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say, I'm not going to say that the majority of people think that way, but there is a community of musicians in around here, and I have to assume everywhere probably that does think like that, and I don't get that because even with Killbillies, we go out and we play these 3-hour gigs or these 4-hour gigs, and I mean, 3/4 of it is covers, but you have to do it. I mean, especially if like you guys are a fairly new band, a couple of years in the running or something. You don't have 15 albums, so you can't do a 3-hour gig if you didn't play covers, and so something's got to pay the bills. While you're creating your craft, something has to support that support it so that it's not just a hobby.
It's got to pay for the lap dances.
And it keeps the chops up, man.
Yeah.
Playing 3-4 hours, it really keeps your chops up.
Yeah.
Sure. As you learning new covers every week or whatever, it's good.
Yeah, totally. And it's how, if you want to live your life as a musician, here in the situation we're in, there's not a lot of places in the world that can support this many bands that play covers. And, we're lucky to live here, I think. And I think it can easily be overlooked that even though, sure, there's not like a ton of like 100% original bands playing everywhere, there are a ton of bands playing everywhere, and most of them have originals. So, I think it's cool,
Yeah.
I actually think that the music scene down here is pretty good,
It certainly seems that way compared to some other places that I've seen musicians migrate from.
Yeah.
A lot of bigger cities, and they say that there's nothing there. I've heard it from musicians from L.A. and Chicago and New York City. They said it's not what it used to be, and
Well, when I lived in Manchester, I found it very difficult to make money out of music. There were things like, there were cover bands and like wedding bands and things like that, but they were really, no one cared about bands that play covers at all. They were, and it was really difficult to get anyone to pay you any money unless you were playing someone's wedding or something like that. And there just wasn't that much of a scene for it. And there were a ton of original acts, but, all of these people who were playing original music, they all had 9-to-5 day jobs. Like, none of them were, like, living it, Right. And if they were on the dole or, like, super poor,
Right.
And when we tried to do it, the band I was in, Sonic Boom 6, we were just living off air, we were driving around in a beaten up old van and living off nothing. And that was okay in my early 20s, but I don't think I could do that, in my 40s.
Right. No kidding.
So that kind of leads into just talking about the writing process. The first thing I'm curious about were you writing when Vern was still in South Africa? Were you like sending stuff back and forth?
No, not as a band or anything. I mean, I think Coby, you were piling up some riffs
I've
and some
always been
lyrical
writing
ideas.
and
I did
stuff.
the same, you know what I mean?
Right.
Just for the inevitable. Whether or not it got used, at least we had, some stuff that we were working on, exercising our chops. And until Vern actually got here, and then we kind of just flipped the switch and got to work.
Hell yeah. So what is your writing process? How do you guys do it?
It depends. It changes here and there. Most of this was done. It depends. Coby can bring me some lyrics.
Yeah.
Because he's a very good lyricist.
Right.
And then he'll bring me some lyrics and I'll put some music to it. It's as easy as that. Or I'll tell him I need a song like this. I want this kind of concept.
Okay.
About this story. And he'll come up with something like that,
Yeah.
But, and a lot of times it's just me being by myself, in my little studio and coming up with arrangements and everything.
Okay. So you got like a little home setup.
Yeah, it's nothing impressive.
Yeah.
It's like a computer.
Sure. Yeah.
It's all it takes these days.
Exactly. That's all you need nowadays.
Yeah,
anyways.
nowadays,
Yeah.
as long as you have an input and a computer, you're good.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah.
There's some great tunes on here, man.
Yeah.
My favorite is "Married to the Road." That's a jam. So something that I always like to ask musicians when they come on, because people usually have pretty amusing answers to it, is let's go with separately first. Like, do you practice the bass? Are you still practicing? Would you say?
Yeah. I would say as a bassist, it's probably a little bit different. I mean, also I'm also one of the few. You'll probably appreciate this, Hector. I'm one of the few bassist. I never played guitar.
Right on.
So I've always just been a bass guy.
Yeah.
And obviously I understand, very basic chords and stuff on guitar, and I can communicate that, properly. But most of the time I find myself working on mechanics, and bass in particular is a very stylistically oriented instrument.
Sure.
There's a ton of style in it.
Yeah.
So I find myself working on always tweaking my style and other than beyond always enhancing my theory, knowledge of that. And
It's a very physical instrument, the bass, isn't it?
especially if you're a finger player.
Yeah, I'm not too shabby at it, but then if you put me on a 3-hour gig, an hour in, I'm struggling.
I don't want to carry that thing for 3 hours.
Exactly.
Well, then these guys got me on the stand-up bass, and now I've been getting into slapping with that thing and stuff, and so it's like pulling on power lines. I mean, it's stupid, but we always joke around. I had to laugh when you were saying the theory, and you just kind of noodle around and don't really didn't really know all the notes and everything right away or anything, but I always have to chuckle because these guys, we'll go to practice, and then Ben will be like, all right, so it's A minor to E minor, and I'm like, and all I hear is A, blah, 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 B, that's all I hear,
It's a different, I've tried to explain it. If you're like a bassist, it is a different way of thinking.
Yeah.
And other bassists, I think, get it. It's hard to explain to a guitar player because I don't even think, most of the time when I try to explain it to a bass player, they're like, oh, no, I get it. Say no more. Say no more. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's a very it's like a really spur of the moment sort of instrument where you can have it planned out in your head when you're playing something, and all of a sudden you're like, yeah, but what if I do this? And what if I do this? And what if I do this? And that kind of leads into, like I was saying, about style. Yeah. That's kind of what ends up, breeding all those different styles of bass playing. And man, there are a lot.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. What kind of bass do you play?
I have quite a few. I've always been. I think I ended up settling on being really a Jackson Charvel guy.
Okay.
Because I just like the necks. Yeah. I like the way the low action is, and it's really, I think, all in the neck. But recently it's kind of funny. I've been playing this thing. It's called a Trabin. That I had bought off of a guy in a Kiss tribute band, Neil, in Kiss America. He was getting rid of it, and it's called the Flame Bass. You see it in pictures if you go on. I play it pretty much. That's like my go-to right now. But man, it's heavy, compared to my Jacksons. My Jacksons are very light. It's heavy. It's an absolute, it's a bear to handle. Right. But there's something awesome about it because every time I play it, I feel like I'm in a wrestling match with it.
I like a heavy bass.
It's hard to explain, what I mean? It just gives you that feel, and it's got, because of the sustain, it's got a lot of metal in it and stuff. So that goes in through the bridge. So there's just something about it,
Sounds cool. I got a Stingray that weighs a ton.
Yeah, it is.
I have a Thunderbird that's like playing a brick with strings. I mean, it sounds great, but it's so damn heavy. Yeah, and lopsided. Really, if you let go, it just goes.
You got the nosedive. Yeah.
Talk about heavy. James's banjo weighs a metric ton. It's insane how heavy that thing is. Yeah, his shoulder is just I think it's going to distort his spine over time. That thing's nuts.
I would have never guessed a banjo would weigh that much.
Yeah, well, it depends on the banjo.
Really?
His one, I don't know why, but he just has a particularly heavy one, especially if you've got the back on there, Right. Some people play it without a back, and then it weighs nothing. It's all in the back. That's the heavy part.
Yeah.
Vern, are you practicing at home? You doing much of
that? Every day if I can.
Hell yeah.
But I do acoustic shows every day, so if I can try to fit in practice, I will, but...
You play every day, do you?
I just overplay on stage.
Right, yeah, sure.
To get my practice and my chops on,
Yeah.
And that's also how I work on my singing, I try new things, and if nobody's listening, if I'm just background music.
100%.
Yeah, I love those solo gigs when no one's listening, you can really sort of stretch out and mess around and play with stuff. Yeah, no, I get quite a lot of practice done then as well. Coby, you still practicing?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
You got to.
Absolutely. You'd be amazed how many people don't though. I asked that question. I wanted 8 out of 10 people don't.
I play too much for me to practice.
I remember reading this quote about an old cello player who's 97 or something like that. He still practices every day. And somebody asked him, they're like, "Why do you still practice every day?" He goes, "I think I'm still getting better."
Yeah,
I
man.
always try to take that with me. There's always something else you can learn, even if it's not something like our band doesn't require a whole lot of sweep picking or anything like that. But every once in a while, I still like, let's try to learn a little bit of sweep picking. It's not gonna make me a worse musician at the end of the day.
Sure.
So,
That's the mountain I'm climbing at the moment. I'm trying to get better at that. I bought myself like a metal guitar, Jackson, and I've just been trying to finally defeat sweeping. It's hard.
Good luck.
God. And I don't have a particularly big hands either, which doesn't help.
Right.
But yeah, right. That's where I'm at with that. I'll go through phases. I'll be like, okay, I'm going to get better at finger picking or like sweeping or like jazz comping or something.
There's not enough time.
There's
Yeah.
It's just like, oh man, I want to be a badass blues player, and then you see like Randy Rhoads or something. Like, oh man, I want to shred.
Yeah, exactly.
What about bluegrass too? Exactly. You just run down that rabbit hole.
And also because I teach, I want to, I want to have some a little bit of everything, just so that if the kids like, this is what I want to do. But actually, and I've said this many times, and I think probably more than once on here. But the most profound thing anyone ever told me about teaching was Justin, the guy who runs this place, and he said, if you're feeling a little bit. Because sometimes you get a kid come in, 16 years old, and you can just shred like a mother, just insanely good. And Justin's advice to me in those situations was find out what they don't know, just concentrate on what they don't know and teach them that.
Right.
Like, it's not a competition, you know what I mean? You're trying to round them out as a musician.
Right.
And once he gave me that advice, it was 10 years ago he told me that when I first started at a different school. And I always think that, when I ever get that feeling like, where do I take him from there? It's like, no, you don't have to add on to the end of the thing he's already super good at. Find something else, you know what I mean? Yeah, it's the best advice I've ever been given. That makes sense. Totally, man. Yeah, cool. So, what's the plans for the band? What kind of what do you plan on doing next?
I don't even know what I'm doing tomorrow. No, we've got a full schedule, we're very blessed to have that full schedule.
Yeah, that's
we've
cool.
got 17 or 18 shows coming up in March.
Yeah, March is insanely busy for us too. Yeah, it's a great music month, March.
And thanks to Bike Week in Daytona. We're getting a couple of spots up there.
Oh, I can see you guys going down real well.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be really good.
Yeah, for now it's just trying to get as many people as possible to listen to our original music, spread the word, and just get out there, gig as much as possible. And then we'll get back, reassess what we want to do in the later part of this year,
Where did you record this?
The drums was done at Raincat Studios.
Yeah, I know that place. Yeah, awesome.
And the rest was done in my little home studio or at our studio where we rehearse.
Yeah. My the ska punk band I'm in did exactly the same thing. So we recorded everything at my house, but then I gave the drums to a power station and they mixed them, did like an amazing mix through all their nice outboard gear and everything, and sent them back with like a bazillion tracks, just sounding great. And then I mixed the rest of it at home. Yeah, you can do it at home, can't you?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, everything was done. I mixed it at home too.
Yeah, and that's great.
I recorded vocals in my closet.
Yeah,
with a packing blanket.
Exactly.
And,
Yeah, totally.
It gets really hot though.
Yeah. Where do you guys live?
Well, I live in Stewart.
Right.
I live in Fort Pierce.
Okay. Yeah, cool. I think there's just so much good music on the Treasure Coast. This is called 561 Music, but tons of my favorite bands around here are from further north, for sure. It's just a little bit of a different feel up that way as well. And I feel like Killbillies plays on the Treasure Coast more than we do down here.
We do here.
Yeah.
That's that's how we are with the West Coast. Like, for instance, we were just in Naples this past weekend. Now we're heading back there tomorrow.
Yeah.
And then we'll be in Okeechobee on Friday. But we have there's that old saying where you're not an expert until you leave your hometown.
Yeah.
So it seems like all of a sudden we go out of town and like people are like, oh, they're back. You know what I mean? But there's always that. I don't know. There is something about, I guess, getting in a car.
Yeah.
And just driving, even if it's like 50 miles. I guess that changes people's perception, at least subconsciously.
100%.
Yeah. It's a weird thing that I don't think is really can be explained thoroughly.
You could just go a couple of towns away and play a show, and people act like you're some national act or whatever because they don't know who you are and you're not from there. You know, like there's this mysterious aura about it.
Totally, it makes a huge difference. We're going on tour in July, and from my experience with other bands and stuff like that, I just know it. You get a good reception when you go away, and then your reception when you come back is better too, because people perceive you as like a touring band. You know?
Yeah, like you did it, you made it.
Yeah. Totally changes everyone's kind of view of you. And plus, it's really fun.
Absolutely.
And it's every little town's a little bit different. The culture is a little different. The people a little bit different. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah, where's your favorite place to play? Would you say?
Wow, that's a tough one.
I'd say Fort Lauderdale's been really fun for us lately.
Oh, you were saying earlier.
We've been having a lot of fun down at Fort Lauderdale.
I got to agree with that.
Yeah, probably Fort Lauderdale.
Yeah.
So, what kind of crowds do you get coming out to watch your bands? Is it like sort of southern rock? Is it like a broad mix?
Yeah, I would say it's pretty broad.
Yeah,
it's a little bit more older.
Pretty broads?
Pretty broads. Lots of pretty broads.
Nice.
Yeah, it's a broad audience, though. Yeah, there's older, mostly bikers, but we've started to catch some attention from the younger crowd, which is kind of what we've been going for.
Okay.
You want to get some little longevity out of this. You want younger people that'll follow you through the years.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's actually started to work out for us in that favor too. So
I'm just
good.
So kind of interested now that I've kind of heard a little bit of the story, and the fact that you kind of headhunted Vern, and you've kind of been sitting on this thing. It's such an interesting story, and it really sort of says something about your tenacity and your kind of like drive that you'd go that route with it instead of just finding some local guy.
Yeah, I think that I think when Coby and I started the band, I don't think the vision was totally clear cut. I think that there was a general direction that we wanted.
Yeah. What would you say that direction is?
For me, I can speak from my perspective. I wanted to put together a legitimately, old school rock and roll band that was faithful to the roots of the genre.
Yeah.
And presented something in the modern day that was fresh but familiar.
Yeah.
And as far as when I heard Vern, it was a done deal. I was like, in fact, I'm pretty sure I said to Coby, I was like, he's the guy. Period. He's the guy. Cool. He's like, so I'm not ditching this idea until he gives a no. And messaging him was kind of one of those things where it was like, well, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. And that being said, he is in South Africa. So what is he going to say? No. Okay.
Yeah.
You keep looking, but we didn't need to. I had a feeling, and I think Coby had that feeling too.
Yeah. As soon as I heard his original, I was like, yep, that's the direction I wanted to go anyways. I love Southern rock and stuff like that. So hearing his originals, that, bluesy core Southern rock, I was like, that's exactly where I want to head anyways. So
yeah, I mean,
awesome.
You guys just come off like the real deal too. You all look great. You got like the proper 70s rock band vibe going on. It's so awesome. We get a lot of people on the show, and I don't know if we've had anyone who comes on the show looks more like a band than you guys.
It's the hair, for real.
Yeah, it's super.
We walked into a bar in Crescent City. I don't know if you guys ever played in Crescent City.
No, where is it?
It's about 3 hours north.
Okay.
Probably 4 hours from here.
Yeah, 4 hours from here, probably.
It's close to Walaka.
Right.
No, they're right next to each other.
Gotcha.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
And we walked into this bar, and this guy says, somebody introduced us as Switch and Whiskey. Hey, these are the guys of Switch and Whiskey. And this guy says, you guys look like Switch and Whiskey. Like that's your name. You're like, our image looked like the name. I thought, well, that's pretty cool. That's what you want.
No, absolutely. And it's a big part of it. I talk about this a lot. The way that the band is presented and looks is, unfortunately, I'm not saying it should be, it's as important as the way it sounds. You know what I mean? Like the whole image of it and everything. Like, who did your videos? Because they're so good.
Yeah, they're sick.
Yeah. So the Keep It in the Red video was done by our friend Juan, who actually is the lead singer-songwriter for a Colombian death metal band, No Raza.
Cool.
which you can go and look up. They're very, very popular.
Okay.
They've toured all over, and if you like death metal, definitely check them out.
Yeah.
But Juan's a very nice guy, and he's very talented. He does graphic design and video production on the side.
Yeah.
And when we wanted to do, especially that Keep It in the Red video, we got with him and we told him what we wanted, and he was completely down with it. Said he had some ideas. And we kind of bounced things back and forth off of each other. And we felt good because it was a fellow musician.
Yeah.
And because, there was that part of us having never done it before. Yeah. We didn't know if going to another, like a professional video production studio, it's like, well, can we convey what we really want to get across? We wanted to showcase the band, but we kind of wanted to just, at the same time, make it look like a legit rock video.
No, I hear that.
So having another musician being able to be like, no, it was a lot of it was synergy. He would be like, nope, I get it, I understand. This, we do this, we do this, we do it. And it came out great. We were very, very happy, and Juan is fantastic.
Yeah, you should be happy with it. It was pretty amazing.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the On Fire video was actually all of our footage from all of our different gigs. And
was
Vern.
that stuff that you had taken, or did he follow you around?
No, it was stuff that I think that all of our fans took.
Yeah, it's some of the stuff that we took, and then we took a lot of because we've got that Facebook group, the fan group, so everybody just posts their videos on there. So I'm like, that's great.
Yeah.
It's okay, but it's really difficult to find high quality videos like that. But I took whatever I could and I stitched it all together and made it look cool. And
yeah, that's one of the things I was going to. I was just about to say is like, it surprises me that that's just stuff people took on their phones and stuff because it's such good quality. It's nuts.
Yeah, it was
I guess
cool.
he just must have brushed it up somehow. I don't know, but it looks great. Yeah. All right. Well, I think seeing as we're talking about it, it's probably be a good idea to watch one of these videos, and then we'll get back and talk about what the song's about, and then take a look at some of your gear and stuff like that.
Cool.
Right on.
Lying here at home with her, alone as I could be. I drift away, dream of you, come and set me free. With you I'm warm, I'm safe in your sound. With her it's broken, it's all come unwound. The truth of it all, it's easy to see, to be where I should be. Married to the road, I don't know where I'll roam. I'm married to the road, no telling where I'll go. I'm married to the road, the soul knows its way home. I'm married to the road, so take me there and set me free. Been holding on for way too long. Story's getting old. Fire's gone, ashes remain from the seeds that I have sown. So I run away, I run to you, I burn it down, no more the fool. Rolling wheels, the open sky, it's where I feel alive. Yeah,
561 Music is brought to you by Handlebars Bar and Grill. It's a biker bar in Tequesta, and it has great food, great booze, and we do a bike night on the second Thursday of every month that has bands, and we, on the fourth Sunday of every month, I run an open jam. So it has music, it has drinks, it has food, and motorcycles. What more could you ask? If you're a biker, you should definitely come and check it out. It'll be right up your alley. There's always real cool bikes parked outside, interesting old British ones and stuff like that. And even if you're not a biker, just come and hang out. It's a real local spot. It's been there for a really long time. It's used to be called Judy's. And before that, it was under another name, but still a biker bar. It's just a piece of the furniture up in Jupiter, Tequesta. It's on US 1. If you're heading out of Jupiter on US 1 North, you see it just coming up on your right there, little yellow building. And I've just been helping my father-in-law, who is the guy who reopened it, with the music and, all sorts of other stuff. When we first opened it, I helped him sanitize the place and rebuild it. But it's nice and clean and cool in there now. And you should come and check it out if you've never been there. It's one of those little gems. It's a very unusual little spot. And I don't think there's anywhere like it in the area. It just has a real unique vibe. So if you're looking for something a little bit different, come and check out Handlebars Bar and Grill.
You got to get Switch and Whiskey to do a bike night there.
Yeah, we absolutely do.
They do bike nights.
Yeah, maybe I'll talk to you
Thursdays.
about that after the podcast.
Yeah, bring it on.
Our second sponsor today, who is actually one of our festival sponsors, is Backsavers, and Backsaver LLC.com is how you can get a hold of these guys. Dr. Christopher White is the proprietor and lead chiropractor there. They handle all sorts of patients from slip and falls and car accidents and that sort of thing. These guys are amazing. My wife works at a law firm that deals with patients that come from there all the time, and right. I mean, Dr. Chris is he's just amazing. I mean,
you could probably use going in there.
Oh God, yeah, I've actually talked to him recently about it. I probably will go in there and get adjusted soon, man. Yeah. My wife's been to him several times. She goes in there, she comes out feeling like just $100 million.
There's a joke in there somewhere. We're not going to go anywhere near it.
Yeah, I was gonna say something, but I'll let that one go. Yeah, he's a fun guy. I mean, go check him out. If you need a back adjustment, if you've had a slip or fall or a car accident or anything of the sort, he can get you all straightened out and get you all hooked up and fixed up, and probably even send you in my wife's direction for the law firm and stuff, and
fantastic,
get you all fixed up. So yeah, and we appreciate them jumping on board and being our first festival sponsor. So
hell yeah. Thanks so much for doing
absolutely.
that.
So backsaversllc.com.
Right on. Our final sponsor for this episode is Oasis Root Coffee and Kava Lounge. It's located in Sea Grape Square, which is on Indiantown Rd. It's right next to alternate A1A in Jupiter, and it's a great spot. Kava is a little bit of a, not everyone likes it, but I got to tell you that this place, it just does it right. It's not fussy. There's not like a million different types of it. Very high quality. It gets it from a really good distributor. I was actually talking to him about it today. He's saying that in the area, he's the only person that gets it from this fantastic distributor, and he buys the Kava as root, and then he gets it processed himself. The stuff you couldn't get, you can't find better quality Kava in the area. It's really, really good. And he also has a Crown tea in there and coffee, and it's just a chill place. That there's a lot of these Kava bars around that almost feel like a nightclub. Everyone's sort of wearing UV and it's dingy in there and kind of weird and a bit awkward. But this place is chill, man. It's not that vibe at all. It's just nice sort of wooden bar and everyone's hanging out. I go in there just to shoot the shit and hang out with people. It's a cool spot. So if you're in Jupiter and you're looking for a place to go that's like a bar but no one's drunk, go to Oasis Root and tell Jim that Ben sent you, because he's a friend of mine. He's a good guy. All right.
Well, we just watched Married to the Road video. So why don't you guys tell us a little bit about what it was about, the video, and what was the song about?
So Well, when I was writing this song, it was kind of a song for, travelers, musicians, truckers, bikers, people that, they're on the road a lot, and kind of the strain that it could put on a relationship with the person you have at home. So it's kind of, at the end of the day, sometimes you got to choose either the road or the family and
there's a lot of truth in that.
The white picket fence life, So at the end of the day, married to the road, I guess at the end of it, that's kind of where it's leading in that direction.
No, I feel you on that one. I sort of had to make it. I was on the road 300 days out of the year for about 5 years, and then I did kind of make the choice to step back from it. But I did it for a long time, and it was cool. But then when I fell deeply in love with my wife, and it's exactly that. There was no way to have a real relationship and be away that much. It's impossible.
Yeah.
And unless you just have this sort of fake shell relationship.
Yeah, find the special one.
Yeah.
If you find the right one.
Oh, you can, if you can find a woman who'll roll with your arrangements and come on tour. But actually,
I still don't think it's a real thing.
But well. Yeah, I've got to give Christy props. She was pretty cool with it, honestly. Yeah. But it's true, man. The people who do it for their whole lives, it has to come first,
Yeah.
The road has to come first if you're going to be that.
If you want to make it, you're not going to get big sitting on your couch at home or living the 9-to-5 day job and trying to do the weekend warrior stuff. It's just not going to pan out for you.
It's absolutely right.
So it kind of reminds me. I remember on one of Joe Rogan's podcasts, he was talking to this one of the MMA guys that he had on, and he said he was like, to be good at something, he goes, you can be good and kind of do it 3 days a week. He goes, but if you really want to be good or great at something 7 days a week, he goes, isn't it kind of like you almost really have to be screwing up other parts of your life?
Yeah.
And that's the way it is with anything that, like art, professional sports, anything to really, it comes first at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Sure.
No, it's
something
true.
to contend with all professionals.
It's true. And the thing is, people see it too. If you're really hungry like that the hungry band is the band that they're going to sign, the band that they're going to put on the festival. That's the people that they're looking.
Well, it shows. It shows and it translates into the music. It translates into the performance. I mean, for sure.
Yeah, no doubt about it. So we got you to take a picture of your pedal board there, Vern. Can you tell us a little bit about it? You think? He's going to ping it up on the screen.
There's not much to it, but it's built around the HX Stomp, the Line 6 unit, one. The green one there.
Okay, what is that a multi-effects?
It's like an amp modular.
Okay, gotcha.
Like a Kemper kind of thing, but it's the Line 6, HX Stomp. It's a powerful unit. It's got so much in there.
Yeah.
So I'm basically running like a plexi kind of sound through it, through greenbacks.
Yeah.
But I run it through my Fender amp. So
you do?
Fender amp sounds like a Marshall,
Right.
And so that's what I use mostly, and it's got my boost and everything, and then that little switch on just next to it, that's just adding extra switches to it. And then you've got the Crybaby. Wow.
Yeah, I like that idea. I cart around my Marshall JCM 2000 all the time when I played with the ska punk band I'm in, and it's huge and a huge pain in the ass to drag around. And it's such a dinosaur. I don't, barely any people use half stacks anymore. You know what I mean?
I was running a half stack till about a month ago.
Yeah,
and finally I went down to a little Fender, combo with just same style. He's got HX Stomp, Crybaby.
Yeah,
and honestly, I think I like the sound more, and it saves so much space.
Yeah, for real.
And the great thing about those kind of pedals are, if your amp goes down, you can always run it direct,
Yeah,
because it's got the cab sims and all that stuff.
Yeah, totally. There's a certain appeal to the big amps sort of coughing and wheezing into life. There's something cool about it.
It is.
But at the same time, the reliability is just not there. Look, a good example of that is we were all getting ready we're playing with this band Less Than Jake on Fridays, a ska punk band from the 90s on their 30th thing. Mm-hmm. And we're using our half stacks, and Matt's half stack in the rehearsal just kicked the bucket, and he just got it back from being fixed. Those things break constantly, They're like classic cars or something. It's just unbelievable. Breaking them all the time. So at some point I'm going to make the transition with Killbillies. We don't even use amps. We just go straight into the PA because it's acoustic.
Yeah.
So have you got, in terms of your schedule, what have you guys got coming up?
Well, we've got in March, we have like 17 or 18 shows. We have 1 week now where I think that it's that first weekend in March, continuing on through the second week. We play. We start out in Naples, cross back over into Fort Lauderdale that Sunday.
Right.
That Monday we're up at Cackleberry Campground up in Port Orange near Daytona. That following Tuesday, we're going to be hopefully, I think it's
Boot Hill Saloon.
Boot Hill Saloon,
Yeah. On Main
right
Street.
there on Main Street.
Okay.
And then we'll have Wednesday off. That'll be our rest day. And then
I'm playing Wednesday.
oh yeah, Vern plays
You're
every
a
day.
beast,
Yeah.
man. Respect, man.
And then Thursday we're back at it
Cackleberry.
at Cackleberry, and then actually we're going to be that Friday we'll actually be down at the Kelsey opening up for an Eagles tribute band that's coming down here from New Jersey. So.
Oh, awesome.
I feel like the Thursday we're doing 2 shows.
Yeah, we're doing
yeah.
St. Augustine as well at the Colonial Oak Live Music Park up in St. Augustine.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's a doubleheader that day.
Cool. So St. Augustine, then Kelsey Theatre.
Yeah.
That's a
next
big
day-
drive in between.
Yeah.
Damn. That's cool. I remember one time, right, I played in Manchester, and then as soon as we got off stage, we drove from the northwest of England to the Czech Republic non-stop, only stopping to piss. And then we played a gig in the Czech Republic at a festival. Then we got straight back in the van and drove straight back to England to London and played a gig again. that in terms of just nuts driving, that was the biggest one. You know, it was like
Married to the
play a
road.
gig, 24-hour drive, play a gig, 24-hour drive, play a gig. It's fun actually. You know, you can kind of make a game out of it. I
It
love
is.
all that.
I was talking to Vern about that on the way down. I was like, it's kind of like, you know, if and when we do make it, you'll look back on those times. Like, you remember when we were driving around 3 vehicles all over Florida, 4 hours a day, playing a gig, 4 hours here, there, you know?
Yeah, totally.
You look back on them fondly with those moments, you know?
Absolutely.
So when you guys are doing stuff like that, you mentioned 3 vehicles. Like, I mean, when you're going to like, you know, Fort Myers and St. Augustine,
Yeah.
back, you guys all drive separate. You don't.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, we're unfortunately a band vehicle is not
Gotcha.
affordable right
Not
now.
yet.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah,
See,
but we're working on it.
when we're doing local stuff, we all just meet on the spot. But we're fortunate enough that, so I was driving a car. I was driving a little, I don't know, little sporty Cadillac or something. I was driving, and my wife had an Armada, and I say had because I borrowed it once for the stand-up bass, and she's never gotten it back. So I drive this Nissan Armada, and so when we do stuff like up in Melbourne and stuff like that, and it's, you know, it's an 1.5-hour drive or whatever, 2-hour drive, we just all pile into the
Right.
Armada. And then I put all the seats down except like the 2 front ones, and then 1 seat in the back seat for Ben, and then all the gear. So Ben's back there with like the gear just surrounding him. You know,
I'm in my
PA,
element back
everything.
there. I love it.
But it's great because we can fit that. We can fit the stand-up bass. Ideally, it works out for us because we don't have amps.
Right.
But we have like the full PA. We've got the stand-up bass, all the instruments, all the stands, everything's in there. But I mean, we make it work. So it's pretty awesome that we
Yeah,
can all.
that's great.
And it's good quality band time. You know, we shoot the shit
Yeah.
and talk about band stuff.
Yeah, I
and
love all that van, you know, van time. It's
coming
good times.
Yeah, coming home from the gig and you're like, man, did you see that girl's boob just pop right out?
Oh,
It's
yeah.
like, it's good. Good times. Good times.
Good wholesome conversation.
You hoped, anyways.
We always joke because we're such a boring band. We get back to the hotel and we'll sit in bed and drink tea and talk shit. You know, it's like, hey, what a nice evening we had tonight. You know, like,
Oh yeah, we don't even drink it. I mean, we don't drink at
Yeah,
all. So you know, it's like we don't drink at the shows and stuff. And we're always like, you know, go up to the bar like, oh, what can we get you guys? 2 Diet Cokes and a regular water or something.
Yeah. There's always one person that just won't take no for an answer though, like who just really desperately
Yeah.
needs you to be drinking. You know?
Yeah.
And you just have
there was this one guy at I don't remember where it was, Brick and Barrel or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean the guy we were playing. I don't even know. We were playing something like pretty slow actually, and the guy just kept pumping his fist 5 feet in front of us. Yeah. And then we finished the song, and he's like, "Rum and Coke." He's got the finger guns and everything. He's like, "Rum and Coke." We're like, "Nah, man, we don't drink." He goes, "Brewski?" Well, yeah, we still don't drink.
He just wouldn't say every 10 minutes to come back. Rum and Coke?
Yeah, he just was not taking no for an answer.
So now rum and Coke is a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so in terms of our gigs, we've got I've got that Less Than Jake show at the Culture Room in Fort Lauderdale.
With No Name Ska.
Yeah.
Friday.
Yeah, Friday the 18th. And then on Saturday the 19th, we've got 2 gigs. James and I are playing at the Square Grouper from 3 to 6 p.m. And then the full band is playing at O'Shea's from 9 to 1 in the morning. And then on Sunday the 20th, I've got a solo gig at Cork in Hope Sound from 4 to 8.
Nice.
Yeah, so quite a busy weekend for me at least. And yeah, it's going to be good. So thank you so much for
Thank you
coming.
for having us, guys.
You guys are really
Appreciate it.
cool, man. And
Yeah.
So much.
when he said if and when we make it, all I could think of was, it's when.
It's,
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, you guys
For
are going to
sure.
do it for sure, man. Yeah.
I appreciate that. That's
But when you make it, you need to come back on the podcast.
Absolutely.
So you can help us make it.
right. Bring it.
We need to blow up the podcast.
This is their record, Switch and Whiskey, Keep It in the Red. We were very kindly asked to play the album launch, and I made a giant fuck up and double booked the band. So that was super embarrassing, and I think I want you to consider this a formal apology because it was incredibly
Formal
embarrassed
public
about
apology.
that.
Who
these
hasn't
things
made a
happen.
double booking?
No, it's true, but I really wanted to play that gig. I feel like a total asshole. Oh,
We
well.
did really want it. We were really bummed when Ben said, I double booked us. We can't play that. And we're like, oh, come on.
I know.
we were really looking forward to playing with you guys.
We were looking forward to having you, man.
Yeah, so
we're
we'll have to make it happen.
Yes,
absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah. I think it'll be a fun show. And the bands will just complement each other so well.
I think it'll go well. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
No doubt about it. All right, guys. Well, see you around. Good luck with everything. I think you guys rock, and we really appreciate you coming on.
Thank you so much for having us, guys.
Appreciate it.
Everybody sings, it's what we're doing. Come and check it out.